Covering an area of 14 million square kilometers, 99% of which is ice-covered, Antarctica is the world's most sparsely populated continent. The coldest, driest and windiest region on Earth, where katabatic winds reach speeds of over 300 kilometers an hour, it's a beautifully inhospitable ice zone. The lowest temperature ever recorded here was minus 89.6 degrees Celsius. And with an annual precipitation of less than 200 millimeters, it's the world's largest desert. First discovered in the early 19th century, the Antarctic continent has long captivated the outside world. In 1911, Norway's Roald Amundsen and Great Britain's Robert Scott raced each other in the hope of becoming the first man to reach the South Pole. While Amundsen beat Scott to 90 degrees south later that year and successfully returned, Scott's expedition, which saw all members of his party perish, remains one of the continent's most tragic stories. Today, Antarctica is the unlikely home to one of the world's hardest ultramarathon events. The Last Desert is the final race in the 4 deserts, a series of self-supported, 6-day-long rough country foot races across some of the most treacherous terrain in the world. One of this year's entrants, England's Lucy Rivers-Barkley, is a regular competitor.
It's testing your ultimate test of endurance. Self-supported race, 6 marathons, 6 days, with your whole of your life on your back, in a rucksack on your back for a week. You're given a tent every night, you're given limited amount of water, and you have to get from A to B. It is, and they are the most stunning deserts in the world: Atacama, Gobi, Sahara, and the last one, Antarctica.
In our first of 3 reports on the Last Desert Race, Transworld Sport recently travelled to Ushuaia in southern Argentina to meet up with the competitors as they made their final preparations for this year's edition. Held every 2 years, the race is by invitation only, and competitors have to have previously completed 2 of the other 4 desert races to be eligible. For many, the race is the culmination of the series.
It's a mixture of nerves and excitement. Very, very nervous about what I'm about to undertake because I really do need to finish this race, but at the same time there's a lot of excitement bubbling away. It's been a long time coming, as this race, because I started the series off in August 07, so it is really a genuine mixture of both nerves and excitement, and I think it's very healthy to be nervous.
Departing from Ushuaia, the competitors will spend 2 days crossing the notorious Drake's Passage before racing in a number of different locations around the Antarctic Peninsula, returning to port 10 days later. When we were in town, the competitors were doing a little bit of last-minute shopping. While the usual race format of sleeping in a tent and having limited water supplies has changed due to the unusual setting of the race, the competitors have a much larger mandatory equipment list than normal. The runners have to carry a 25-litre backpack filled with a variety of essential items and have a drop bag filled with emergency gear at the start and finish line should the weather change rapidly and the temperature plummet.
Normally we take a couple of short-sleeve t-shirts, a couple of shorts, a pair of long compression tights and long-sleeve top and a jacket, a woolly hat and some sunglasses, maybe a buff round our neck. This time we are taking everything from a goose-down fur-lined jacket, Gore-Tex trousers, the micro-spikes, goggles, 2 pairs of sunglasses, all these gloves, hats, balaclava, glove liners, 3 or 4 pairs of running tights, a sleeping bag and food, and my charity flag. I think that's about it.
One of 15 British entrants in this year's race, Lucy Rivers-Barkley is one of 3 women aiming to become the first female runner to complete the 4 Deserts Grand Slam, running all 4 events in the same year. The 33-year-old originally entered the Sahara race in 2008 as a one-off. However, she decided to attempt all 4 events this year to help raise money for a British charity following the death of her father.
It's a huge challenge. No one's done it before, and I'm quite good at if someone tells me I can't do something or it hasn't been done before, I'm quite bad at trying to prove them wrong. Someone worked out the other day, it's 24 marathons in 9 months, which is insane, let alone with all your training and the travelling and the toll on your body. And I'm definitely beginning to feel the effects of it. My left knee is completely shot to pieces.
One of Lucy's rivals in the race for the Grand Slam is Samantha Gash. Aged just 26, she's the youngest competitor in the field. Having taken up trail running just 2 years ago, the Australian is undaunted by the challenge ahead.
I'm quite excited by it. I'm a bit nervous. I'm not really sure what to expect with this final race. We've had 3 races so far where we've had temperatures going up to 50 degrees, and then all of a sudden, you know, we're going to go to very, very cold weather, snow. I'm from Australia, so I haven't really seen much snow before. And I think the idea that I'm so close to finishing, that's quite an exciting thing, but at the same time, anything can still happen. I can hurt an ankle, be pulled out of the race.
All eyes, however, will be on this man, Ryan Sands. The 28-year-old, who's been training for the event in a purpose-built ice chamber near his home in Cape Town, is the overwhelming favourite. Having won all 3 of the other 4 desert races over the course of the last 3 years, including winning the Gobi March on his ultramarathon debut in 2008, the South African is aiming to become the first person to win all 4 races. Not bad for someone who only took up the sport on a whim.
So I only got into running quite recently. I think my last year at varsity, my only way to get up to the Knysna Oyster Festival was to go with a bunch of mates who were doing the half marathon. So I thought, what the heck, let me try into the half marathon. It'll be a good party for the weekend. So yeah, I really enjoyed that and the bug bit. And then shortly after that I got into trail running, and then I stumbled across the 4 Deserts website. The one day I think I googled extreme desert races, and I popped the 4 Deserts challenge, and I thought, yeah, what an awesome way to go and do something a bit extraordinary, and then also an excuse to go and travel. So I entered the Gobi Desert race, and yeah, the rest is history.
Finally, 18 months after the first invites went out, the time has come for the competitors to leave Ushuaia on board the 82-metre Antarctic Dream, their home for the next 10 days. The race offers for most the opportunity of a lifetime to visit one of the most remote places in the world. Victory for Ryan in Antarctica would see him make trail running history.
I've got mixed emotions leading up to the last desert race. I'm not too sure exactly what to expect. A lot of the previous races I've done have all been in warm deserts, or the conditions have been really hot, and that kind of suits me. I've never been a fan of cold weather, so in some ways I'm kind of a bit nervous. I don't quite know what to expect. I'm also really excited to actually finally be heading down to Antarctica, and just to get the race started.
Next week, we'll follow the competitors as they start the race to cover 250 kilometres across Antarctica's frozen landscape.